Your institute is called Institute for Governance and Sustainable Development. What are the global governance issues, or national even as well, that have led us to where we are? Or what changes are necessary to reverse this situation globally and nationally? And the same question to Aida then, because all the matter of vulnerable groups and investment contracts is related to governance. Who sets the rules? And then if you want to answer as well, who sets the rules of the game? Who determines the scope of obligations and rights?
It is the question that's preoccupied me for much of my long career. I'll give a couple of illustrations. I mean, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, these are ineffective governance systems. We started 30 years ago, and we've seen climate emissions go up by 50% in that time. The voluntary nature of that governance approach has not worked. The best you can say, and this is what many of my colleagues would say, it could have been worse. But that's no longer acceptable because it will be worse really quickly when we pass the tipping points. The one international governance system that has been stellar in its climate performance is the Montreal Protocol, the treaty that was originally designed to protect stratospheric ozone. But because the same chemicals, CFCs, HCFCs, and now the HFCs, those same chemicals are super climate warmers as well. And so by taking them out of the system with the Montreal Protocol governance system, that treaty has avoided as much warming as CO2 causes today, which is a little more than half, 55%. And that treaty, Montreal Protocol, has kept us from going over the cliff of tipping points so far. It is on course to avoid 2.5 degrees of future warming by the end of the century. That's 1.7 degrees from taking out these fluorinated gases, and another 0.8 degrees because by healing stratospheric ozone and preventing UVB radiation from coming in and destroying forests and other sinks, we have gotten an extra benefit from this treaty, 2.5 degrees. So it is the stellar example. It shows us how you can construct effective governance. It's a universal agreement. It's been ratified by every country. It's been amended 5 times, and it's a rockin' treaty. Now, the next challenge for governance is how to address methane. We have promises that have been made by national oil companies and others for many, many years that they will take care of their methane problem. But that's no longer sufficient to rely on a promise. And it's time to move to a mandatory methane agreement inspired by the success of the Montreal Protocol. It's inevitable if we're going to slow climate change in time. Thank you.